Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. Spending some special time here this morning on how we help our veterans, what we can do for them beyond the things that we heard Phil Pelandro last week, the head of the York County Veterans Affairs, talking about, and the need that's out there. So many times, we go through our community and we don't realize the kind of need that is out there. And Susan Burns joins us again this hour, but we're also joined by one of the heroes who walks among us, Sandy Walker, who was a veteran himself and who was really one of the founding hands, if you will, of Veterans Helping Hand. He's a guy whose phone number we've been giving out all morning, so we're expecting that you'll be calling him later on in the day. And also his daughter, Sandy Walker, who's a volunteer on this, who I've known and she's been involved in helping people herself over the years in the city, and also a former basketball player in my program, which was she was a good one too. Played at York High, a very good player there. Sandy, great to have both of you Sandys in here this morning. Okay,
thank you.
Glad to be here.
Now, I want to talk about to Sandy the dad here first. You were a veteran.
Yes, sir.
And we thank you for your service to our country. I call you guys the heroes who walk among us because I tell you what, we have no better resource in our country than you people and what you've done and even who you are now. But we were talking a little bit this morning about there is need out there, and whenever we hear a story about a veteran who's homeless or a veteran who's not able to get the kind of services that are necessary, and I know Phil Pelandro we had on last week does a great job here getting people the right places, but there's still gaps that happen out there. And I think that's kind of what you're trying to get at right here, right? Get to some of those gaps.
Yes, sir. One of our major purposes is to fill the gap between the reality of what is and the available things that are available through the VA or that Phil was talking about.
Right.
There is a reality that the majority of veterans programs are not immediate access. When we have a homeless veteran on the street or we have a veteran that needs food, they need it now. They don't need it a week from now. They need it now. If we have to provide emergency shelter, they need that shelter now.
Right.
So what we as an organization do is bridge the gap between the reality of what is and the reality of what is needed.
Hopefully we're helping this morning with that pipeline to get people to you and through you to some of those very needs you're talking about right now. Give us a couple stories of people you've talked to out there, you've seen out there, where this need seems to be most acute.
Well, when we were on our way down here, I was telling my daughter about a person that we have down here in Wrightsville that he was waiting for his disability to start. He had 3 surgeries, and he was waiting for his disability to start. But every week we had to bring food down so that him and his family could eat for a period of about 2.5 months until his money kicked in. And we continue to have cases of families that get into new apartments. They finally get an apartment and they don't have anything in the apartment. So we'll provide appliances, washer and dryer, refrigerators, sofas, beds, and stuff that families need just to get established. And sometimes we don't think about it. On an everyday basis, we don't think about, okay, what does this veteran need? Because now they have a place. But all they have is a place and they don't have nothing in it. So these are the kind of things that Veterans Helping Hand does.
Now, I know we were talking with Susan here in the first half hour of this, and kind of a special segment we're doing today on all this. And she said that, they're trying to procure a place right now for veterans out there who are homeless. How big a problem is that in our area right here, in the York area, for homeless veterans?
In the York area, we probably see 2 to 5 homeless veterans every week. We do a food run every Saturday and Sunday. through York's Helping Hand, and they've been doing that for 25 years. And our veterans will show up on the food run line to get a hot meal, and a lot of times they'll tell us what their problems are and what they need. We have established a rapport with most of the poor, homeless, and needy people in York, and they believe that they can trust us. And for veterans to be able to trust people is a very difficult thing, because the majority of them feel that the system has failed them. And so if they see you as part of the system, they won't mess with you. One of our homeless veterans that died last year under one of the bridges in the city, he had been walking the streets, and I know just about everybody has seen him downtown at one time or another, and he did not trust the system. But he trusted us. He would come in and he would show up for the food line, and he'd ask us for shoes for his feet or a backpack or something that we could give to him. But elsewise, he wouldn't talk to anybody.
What is it about, and you've raised a really interesting point here, what is it about the system that they tell you they don't trust? What are the things that really are bothering them that way?
The majority of the failure of the system is the whole mentality of the military that says hurry up and wait. And establishing the hurry up and wait when you come out and you expect to have benefits given to you that you have earned, and what you get is hurry up and wait. And even though you're telling them, I'm in no position to wait, I need this now, it's hurry up and wait. That builds the biggest part of mistrust in the veteran for the system.
I wonder, and I asked Susie this before the break, and I want to ask you, it seems to me, as I said in the beginning, you as veterans are our greatest commodity. You as the heroes who have walked among us are our greatest commodity. You come back home. Where did opportunity go for veterans when you get back home? Why, we look at employers and we say, okay, wasn't that job being held? Am I being naive about this? But shouldn't that job be held for you? Shouldn't we be crawling over ourselves to make sure that we provide opportunity for veterans? I know the Vietnam veterans did not get treated very well when they came home here. I remember that very well. But even now, it's very in vogue to thank a veteran, and yet when it comes to action, are we not doing the action that says your job's waiting for you when you get back?
No, we're not. No, we're not. The majority of veterans that do come back, the jobs that they had before they went in are not available. Our system has turned into point blank a money system. And if in fact you can't reach that bottom line, and being a active military, you can't reach that bottom line, we're not going to keep it, because we need to hit that bottom line. So when our veterans come back, even though they're supposed to have their jobs available, the majority of them are not available.
What are the biggest problems that you see for veterans who come back, be it Vietnam or even more recently, when they get back home? Obviously, it's a stress on family. Obviously, it's a stress on, do I have a job? Can I find a job? Obviously, it's a stress on if I can't do those two things, if I'm out there without my home anymore and my family's somehow disintegrated as far as my relationship, or if my job situation has dried up, what do they do?
Well, what we have is we have a different system that is now looking at the veterans of today than it was when we came back from Vietnam.
Okay.
The difference being, when I went to Vietnam, I didn't go to Vietnam from York, Pennsylvania. I went to Vietnam from a training base in Chicago. Outside of Chicago. You had a military town because these were military people. The difference today is the fact that if I live in York, Pennsylvania, and I'm a part of the National Guard and I get called up, I got to go.
Right.
When I come home, I don't come home to a military town. I come back home to York, Pennsylvania. Okay? It's a whole different mentality of dealing with everyday civilians and dealing on a base with the majority of them being military. We lack mental health counseling, and one of the best things that York County has done has established the Veterans Court.
Right.
Okay. Because I think they have realized that veterans need to be looked at and treated in a different fashion if, in fact, you want them to come back into society.
Right.
We have to deal the same way with homeless veterans. Our homeless veterans cannot go into the regular homeless shelters because it puts a confinement on them that they neither want or can actually abide with. So you find out that you have veterans sleeping outside and freezing because we haven't put into place a special homeless place for veterans.
I'm going to talk to Sandy, the daughter, here for a moment now. You've been a volunteer in this for about a year with your dad. And what have you seen from your particular vantage point? You're a little younger now, but at the same time, I still see need, right?
Oh, definitely. I think I started to realize the need more when I was out doing the food runs every weekend. And there would be individuals that would come up and talk to me. And after we conversed for a couple minutes, some of them would say, I'm a veteran. I need help. In particular, this past weekend, there was a gentleman who came up to me and asked me, do you know of any transitional shelter I went to? And he named a couple of organizations. And he's living with a family member, but he has to leave soon. And he doesn't have the money to put up front to rent an apartment or, as a down payment.
Right.
And actually, I hesitated for a moment because when I thought about it, there wasn't any emergency shelter that I could direct him to. So I told him to come back to see us the next day. And we squared him away with a couple things. But the need is that doesn't just happen every so often. It's happening every other weekend where we have individuals who come up, and then you realize after having a conversation with them that some of these individuals are veterans and they're not getting the necessary treatment that they need. So my heart has always been with serving the community and serving the homeless, the poor, and the needy in the community. But I've seen a completely different side when it comes to our veterans. And so that's why it's something that I really feel, and with my father being a Vietnam veteran, just learning a lot about what those coming back from Vietnam went through. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
We're going to take a very quick break. We're going to come back with both the Sandys, Sandy Walker, the Vietnam veteran, and Sandy Walker, his daughter, and Susie Burns here on the Gary Sutton Show. We have about 5 minutes left, but we want to find out what you can do. We're going to focus on what you can do to help. And again, the name of this group is Veteran Helping Hand. Sandy Walker's number is 846-6035. That's 846-6035. Of course, that's in the 717 area code. SaluteForService.org is the website you can go to. We're going to come back and talk more about how we help our veterans, especially right now, when need is now, not later on, here on the Gary Sutton Show. It's News Radio 910, WSBA. Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show on WSBA. We're with Susan Burns, the Susan Burns Health Education Center. We're Sandy Walker, a Veterans Helping Hand, and Sandy, his daughter, who's also a volunteer with that. And I want to come back and just spend this next 5 minutes, Sandy, on talking about what people need to do right now. And I'm going to start kind of first with Susie here for a moment. Susie, we talked about getting that shelter. So for people out there, we're trying to get this drop-in shelter. And one of the things that we've not talked a lot about is the mental health component to all this, which is for a lot of these people, PTSD is real. You know, for many of us out there, it's something we read in the magazine or something we talk about, and we don't really see the human face on it. But you see the human face on it when they come out there to an education center or to a drop-in center, as you're kind of proposing right now.
Yes, PTSD is, if you can just imagine being in combat, how could you ever be the same after that? And I believe that mental health of our veterans is a number one priority, and the VA system is trying, but there just isn't enough help. So what we hope to happen at this Veterans Drop-In Center and eventually at our residential program also is to have mental health professionals there to help our veterans, and hopefully it will actually keep them out of the treatment court, because we're trying to prevent things, and so we want to be proactive with that.
Sandy, I know you probably have seen PTSD up close and personal, and for people out there talk about it but don't really see it, it is something that is real.
Yeah, it is something that's real, and it's something that stays with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I was in Vietnam 45 years ago, and sometimes some of the things that had transpired over there seems like they were yesterday. So for our veterans, mentally, we need to have the counseling available to help them at every stage. And you can't, again, put them into a line and say, hurry up and wait. If they want to talk, they want to talk now. Okay, and so we have to have people available for them to talk to now.
The here and now is really what we're talking about right now. And I'm going to go Sandy, your daughter, for a second. What kind of things right now do people need to do, and can they do, who are out there listening to this, and I'm sure are moved as I am about what we can do to help our veterans? What can they do right now?
Well, definitely I would think that donations are needed. What we do now is, as has been said before, is we address the right now need. So with the holidays coming up, with Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday food baskets, with non-perishable foods, and also, maybe a turkey or a ham. We have veterans that come in and homeless and needy that come in who need the food. With the weather changing, winter coming up, sleeping bags, blankets, any hand warmers, things like that for the people that are out on the street, they need the thermal sleeping bags. In regards to transitional veterans that are that have found an apartment or a house or a rooming house or rooming situation, they need furniture.
Right.
So those are needs that if you have furniture that you need to get rid of, if you have appliances that you need to get rid of that you may no longer need, those are things that we can use. And then also, of course, the smaller things when it comes to the sleeping bags and the coats and the gloves, that stuff that when they come in, homeless, needy veterans, when they come in, we give it to them right away.
Sandy, the father. Okay, I'll come back to you here. I keep saying it such a way because you're both such neat people. Saluteforservice.org is a website.
Yes.
Veterans Helping Hand is the name of the group. People can call you at 846-6035. Is there a place that they can come to see you all and get help?
Yes, they can. They can come to 46 South Pershing Avenue in York. And we're basically there every day from 10 until 5. And they would basically come in and talk with Dorothy, who has been working with us for the last 15 years. And she'll get them set up for what they need and coordinate with the people that are necessary to provide the services that are needed.
Now, if people have furniture, if people have donations they want to make in person, again, same place they would come to?
Yes, sir. Same place and the same number.
Right.
And we will come and pick them up. We have families that they get into an apartment and they need a washer and dryer. They need a refrigerator. They need a living room sofa and bedroom furniture. So we will come and pick it up so that we can fulfill the need. Not only in York County, but the Lebanon VA had called us a couple months ago because the furniture place in Harrisburg that was providing furniture for veterans no longer do it. So they asked us, would we do it if it was a veteran? And we said, yeah. Okay, so now we are handling not only York County, but we're handling Lancaster and Dauphin County for veterans that need furniture.
And if you are a person out there, a business owner right now, where can you call if you've got that space available we've been talking about to have a drop-in place for veterans where they can stay on some of these cold nights? Susie?
Well, I'll give my home phone number for that, and it's 755-6851. And we hope, again, there is a sense of urgency. So in the next 4 weeks, we want this Veterans Drop-In Center to open. And it might only open with space for 1 to 3 veterans, but we will open before the cold weather hits. And I just also want to say quickly, if you are a veteran or you are the wife of a veteran or you are a family member, please call Sandy or myself and let us know what you need, because we are there to serve you. And also, I just want to put a plug in for the group, that the overarching group here is called the York County Veterans Outreach. And if you would like to join and be part of this wonderful dynamic group that's serving our veterans, you can call me at 755-6851.
So again, if you have a space that in a building and you really don't have much going on there right now, give Susie a call at 755-6851. If you want to join the York County Veterans Outreach, you can call 755-6851. And then we switch over to Sandy. And again, if you have needs as a veteran, if you have needs out there, give him a call at 846-6035. Or you can also go to saluteforservice.org. Sandy, and Susie, I really appreciate you being with us today. I hope people will respond. Again, 846-6035 for Sandy, 755-6851 for Susie. And let's help the veterans right now. There is a need out there. Let's get after it. We are the kind of people that step up when there is need and do something about it. We certainly appreciate you illuminating that fact for us this morning, all three of you. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.